In this version of Jolly Old St. Nicholas, we're going to add chords to the melody we learned in the previous example. So we're going to start with a C chord, and then play the remaining notes with single notes, E's. Then we're going to go to a G chord, but we're only going to play up to the second string with that D on top with your third finger on the third fret of the second string. So the chord is this. And the reason we're not going to play the full chord is we want our melody note to be the top note of the chord. So we go from the C to this G with the D on top, and then play that D note 3 times by itself. Then we're going to go to an A minor, but with the A minor, we're going to play the C on top. The C is the first fret on the second string with your first finger. So our A minor chord is only going to consist of the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So we have we go to that A minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. So with each of these chords, you'll do one strum of the chord and then the single note 3 additional times. So we have C, G, A minor, and then we're going to go to an E minor. And with this one, you can strum all 6 strings because our melody note is going to be on top, the high E string. And this will just hold 2, 3, 4. So you'll hold that for a whole measure. Then for our next chord, we're going to go to an F, but this is going to be an F over C, meaning C is going to be the lowest note of the chord. So if you know this big F bar chord, we're actually just going to take 3 notes out of that chord, the notes that your third finger, your pinky, and your second finger are going to play. I'm just going to play those 3 notes, C, F, and A. So that's your third finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and your second finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And we're going to do that same pattern. So you'll play all 3 notes of the chord, and then play the top note, that A, an additional 3 times. Now, if you want to play the full F chord and put your first finger down on the 1st fret of the 6th string, by all means do that, but that might be a little more difficult, and moving through these chords with the melody, sometimes you can ditch a few notes and still get the sound of the chord. So, and then we're going to go to a 3-note C chord, and just play the 3 notes, C, E, and G. That's the C with the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, the E with the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then the open G, open 3rd string. And you'll just play the chord all together one time, and then the single note open G one time. And then throw that C that your first finger plays on the 1st fret of the 2nd string on top by playing the full chord. So that chord measure goes. So small chord, single note, full chord from C to C, C, E, G, C. And then we're going to go to this little D shape, D, open D, A with your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then D with your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then that 3rd finger is going to move to the 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and back and forth. So D, C, D, and then open E. And then we'll play a full G chord with your 2nd. Then we'll play a full G chord with your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So it's that G chord without the high E string. So that's the first half of the tune. So let me go through that slowly. Now the second half of the tune is similar up until the very last measure. So we'll go back to the C, G, A minor, E minor, that F chord with the C in the bass, C. And then this time we're going to go to the D just for 2 notes. D to C, and then a G. And we're going to play an open E on top of that G chord. So we're going to play all the way up to the D, and then add that open E. And then end with a nice C chord. And once again, the C chord is going to omit the high E string, the first string, because the melody ends on a C, so we can only play as high as the melody. So here's the second half of the tune slowed down. So here's the entire Jolly Old St. Nicholas slowed down, the full form. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... So once you've mastered this version, check out the advanced version where we're going to add some more interesting chords and some bass motion to this.